Tonight, a recent ChatGPT poll says 70% of men do not want to end up like ex-NBA player Iman Shumpert in his divorce to Teyana Taylor. Also, the Democrats have hit an all-new low with an approval rating now of less than 30%. Also, internet sensation Charleston White is in a bit of a new controversy right now. His quote-unquote snitch tape from 1991 has resurfaced, and the internet is once again in a frenzy. All that and more on episode number 116 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. We'll be right back.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. That's right. I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the building.
Commander of the armies of the North, General of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
All right. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and don't forget, before we get into this live stream, do not forget, we got to handle business. Let's get it.
Family moving up in the business. I know you're going to look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, I'm not invisible, so do me a favor. If you're watching live on YouTube, Facebook, and X, hit that like button, hit that share button for me. Yes, sir. We got a real quick show for you tonight. I don't want to be on too long because I got shit to do in the morning, but I got a couple topics I want to talk about tonight. And first up, I want to talk about this recent post that I saw on Instagram earlier today. And honestly, this post pretty much sums up what myself and a whole host of other guys have been saying about modern women in marriage for at least the past 4 to 5 years. Okay? Most of these chicks are completely beyond the pale. Most of these chicks are completely beyond the pale. And truthfully, they aren't really looking for love and family. They're looking for a payday. Okay? So what I want to do real quick, I want y'all to check out this post. From the Bitch Gossip Instagram page. I don't know if I said that right. But I want you to check this out. It's a popular blog page. And I want you to look at this real quick, okay? Because this is very, very interesting, all right? So, according to the Bish Gossip Instagram page, right, 70% of single men on social media say that they've avoided starting a family because they fear they'll end up like Iman Shumpert, all right? So let's get into the caption. The caption says, a recent study was done over the past 30 days via ChatGPT. Studies say that at least 70% of single men agree that the reason they have not started a family is because they fear they'll end up like Iman Shumpert. Okay? Iman Shumpert is a former NBA player who recently settled his divorce with his ex-wife, Teyana Taylor, requiring Iman to hand over $20 million in assets and $8,000 a month in child support. Okay? That is insane. That is completely insane. Now, of course, the strong independent queens in the comment section had a lot to say. Let me enlarge this, right? Because I want to read off some of these comments. I want y'all to see what some of these women had to say. So one woman says, they don't even have those type of assets. Like, huh? Right? Another one says, simple. Don't cheat. Treat your woman right. Another woman says, 70% of the men who ain't got Iman money worried about not ending up like Iman or getting married. They can't even afford their thoughts, much less a divorce settlement. Shut up. All right? Then another one says, but they'll still have a kid or kids with women they don't like. Then it says, I bet 69% are not in their tax bracket. Another woman says, and most of them don't have any money for anyone to take. All right? Then another one. I'm going to read this last one because all of the comments are like this. Last one I'm going to read says, so 70% of the men are admitting they got married, they cheat, and be the reason for a divorce. LMAO. All right? And this last one. Y'all need to stop. 70% of single men weren't professional NBA players either. All right? So that's what they had to say about that. That's what they had to say about that. And fellas, this right here is all you need to see. Just look at the comments. Go to this page, go to this post yourself. Look at the comments from the majority of these women. Their logic is completely skewed. Okay? They try to rationalize men getting screwed in divorces because of cheating and also saying it's not an issue because most men don't have the same financial assets as Iman Shumpert. Okay? And while, yes, that may be true, but as men, that's not the way that we're looking at this. Okay, so first off, to address the cheating thing, right? Just because you get cheated on doesn't mean you're entitled to half or maybe even more of my assets. I mean, this thought process is insane. You know how many men get cheated on every day and don't get a dime for it? Usually, the court still lets the chick slide, and she might even still get a piece of his money. So yeah, if the tables were turned and he got all her assets that she worked hard for and earned throughout her singing career, y'all would be crying foul and calling that nigga sassy. As a matter of fact, where are her assets from her singing career? Where are they? I mean, clearly she ain't make no money if none of her earnings were calculated in this divorce decision. Where's her money at? How does she get 20 million of his money and she's supposed to be a rich and famous singer? It's not adding up. Now, when it comes to most men not having to worry about this because we quote unquote don't have that type of money, fellas, don't fall for this shit. Don't fall for it. It doesn't matter if you're a multi-billion-dollar real estate mogul or a nigga who drives the bus for Metro. If that woman gets you in court, she's gonna try to take something from you. If you got a house, she's gonna want half of that. If you got a retirement, she's gonna want half of that. If you got a paycheck, she's gonna want a piece of that through alimony. Matter of fact, I got a homeboy who was married to a chick for like 2, maybe 3 years. I think it was like 2 years, but 3 tops, right? Anyways, she divorced him and she was so goddamn petty. She took this nigga for alimony and was hitting this nigga for like $300 or $400 a month, like over a 3-year period, right? Just because she could. She didn't need the money. She took it just because she could. Never mind the fact that she had money saved and was working a little job getting paid under the table. Never mind that. She took him for that chump change just because. Just because. Fellas, I challenge you. Next time you get a free day, go down to the court building and just sit in the family court shit. Just go sit. Go sit and watch how these chicks are using the system to squeeze every ounce of blood they can out of a good, solid, hard-working man. It's a goddamn shame. Because it's the good men, like the police officers, the firemen, the electricians, the real estate agents, the plumbers, the truck drivers, the cable guys, the doctors, the dentists. It's those guys. It's those guys, the ones who work hard, pay their bills, and take care of their families, who are in court, getting bent over by the system.
Ain't nobody bending me over.
Oh, so you doing the bending?
Those are the ones in court. But meanwhile, the deadbeat street niggas and the Pookies and Ray Rays who don't do a damn thing for society, let alone their children, those are the ones who face no consequences. So yeah, don't let these broads tell you you're crazy for not wanting to end up like Iman Shumpert. He's literally everything these chicks say they want in a man. Married to a woman who allegedly is strong and independent. And he still can't get a fair shake, nor can he get a chick to cooperate accordingly. Because contrary to popular belief, like he said before, she cheated in the marriage too. It wasn't just him. But damn that. Have y'all seen Michelle Obama's podcast? This might be the first and last time I ever stick up for Barack Obama on this show. But goddamn, Michelle Obama is a piece of work. All right, real quick, let me see if I can find this clip real quick. I think I bookmarked it on my YouTube. Hold fast real quick. Let me see if I can find this clip. I want to show y'all this clip from Michelle Obama's podcast. Hold on. All right, give me a second. Let's see if we can find this thing. All right, 1 second. I think it's over at the bottom here. Hold on. Here we go.
Mom at the
All right, check this foolishness out, y'all. This is crazy. All right, we're gonna start it right here at the 16-minute mark. Check this out.
But
and I would get ready earlier just to keep him company.
Well,
all right.
Barack, he had to adjust to what on time was for me.
Because he was on that island time.
Well, but I've got this husband who's like, when it's time to leave, it's 3:00. He's getting up and going to the bathroom, and I was like, dude, like 3 o'clock departure means you've done all that. It's like, don't start looking for your glasses, at the 3 o'clock departure. But he's improved over 30 years of marriage. But that was you must adjust. And Malia and Sasha, if they're doing anything with me, they are early.
Right.
So they've learned how to snap to it. But that was, those kind of lessons from parents when you think you're helping your kid, because you're worried about them failing. You don't want them to be late. You don't want them to get
So there we go. So she's basically explaining how basically she's the better parent because Barack Obama was a late idiot, apparently, right? Now, I know that doesn't seem like much of anything. Probably seems innocent. But I'm telling you, this podcast was filled with little digs at Barack Obama. Okay? And what's sad is that you will never, ever hear another first lady of the United States of America talk about their husband the way Michelle Obama talked about Barack Obama in a public setting for the whole goddamn world to see. Okay? This is a prime example of the problem with the black family in America. There is no respect for the men. And the women refuse to play their role. And I'm not saying this about every black woman, because there are some that do play their role, but clearly Michelle Obama doesn't. That's the same woman who skipped out on a presidential funeral and the inauguration, who's supposed to be married to a former president of the United States of America. Like, it's clear she has zero respect for the role of first lady. If your husband is there, you need to be there. See, but black folks look at her disrespect as a badge of honor. Okay? We look at it as a badge of honor. Anyways, I got a little more I want to show you, because in my opinion, it gets a lot crazier. All right, so I'm gonna show one more section of this, and then we'll move on. All right, let's go. We're gonna start right here. Let's go.
That none of us kind of banked on. I mean, we knew Barack was smart and, ambitious, but, I think, but you talked me into supporting his run.
I did.
And he was smart enough to know that he needed to come to you and sell you on the idea. So tell folks, what did he say and what you said to me?
So,
because I was definitely like, nope, no way, this is crazy. We've done enough crazy stuff.
That's right. That's right. And, everything happened so fast because Barack went from a state senator to a U.S. senator. And next thing you know, people were saying, this guy should run for president. And you were like, no, not doing it. You had grown up with Fraser Robinson. You wanted your girls to have sort of a similar upbringing with a father who would come home from work and play catch and take them to the park and do all these things. And Barack came to me and he's like, I can't convince your sister to go along with this. And I'm like, whoa, go along with what? And it's like, I think I'm going to run for president. And I was like, what? I wouldn't go along with it. And I said to him, listen, what you have to do is, first of all, let me talk to her. You don't talk to her. Let me talk to her. No, it wasn't that. I said, I said, if we can get mom on this, our mom, Marion Robinson, if we can get her on board for this, which she was not on board for it, we might have a chance of getting Mish on.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there. Now, do y'all hear this shit? Barack Obama, even though I'm no fan of the guy, I'm no fan of Barack Obama, but by all intents and purposes, Barack Obama is an ultra successful man. What he has managed to achieve in his 50 or 60 years on the planet Earth is going down in history books. Love him or hate him, he has made his mark on history, period. From law school to the state Senate to the National Senate to the White House. Bro, a black man can't even become the president of the United States of America and get some goddamn respect from these women. You mean to tell me Barack Obama had to beg his goddamn brother-in-law to get support from his own wife? Bro, at this point, he's a fucking senator. Like, if he hadn't proved himself to her by then what does it take? It's clear that neither Michelle Obama nor her ungrateful family had any or has any respect for this man. They don't have no respect for him. And now I see why he's banging the white girl from Friends.
Look at my African American home. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking
about? It's sad, man. It's sad. But anyway, speaking of Democrats, we're going to move on. So up next, I want to turn you guys' attention to this post I saw earlier, or maybe it was yesterday, I think. I saw this yesterday on Baller Alert. It's about the recent situation with the Venezuelan gang members being flown to El Salvador, okay? And what I want to highlight here is the ignorance from the left that we are all witnessing in 4K. And at this point, their only strategy is just to oppose everything that Donald Trump does or says, and it's not playing out well for them. The fact that we are now arguing over whether gang members from a third world country should be flown back into the United States of America is absurd at this point. All the damage that these people cause has been documented. Okay? It's all documented. Everything they've done over the last 4 years has been documented. This should be a no-brainer for the Democrats. But what they refuse to do is read the room. They refuse to read the room. But anyways, let's get to that post. All right? And yes, I chose to look at the post from Baller Alert, because that's where you're going to get a good idea of where the ridiculousness is coming from. All right, now where is this shit at? Hold on. Give me a second. All right. All right. So we headed to Baller Alert. All right, so it says Trump deports immigrants to El Salvador despite court order. Pays $6 million a year to house them. Now let's hear what Baller Alert has to say. It says, the Trump administration is paying El Salvador's president, Nayib Bukele, $6 million to house 300 deported immigrants, even after a federal judge issued a temporary stop to removals. On Saturday, U.S. District Judge James Boasberg ruled that deportations under the Trump's 18th century wartime declaration should be halted. However, by that time, 2 planes carrying deportees were already in the air, one bound for El Salvador and the other bound for Honduras. Boasberg verbally ordered the flights to be turned around, but because he didn't include it in official written ruling, the deportations continued anyway. Bukele, a Trump ally, responded on social media, seemingly mocking the judge's decision. He posted, "Oopsie, too late," on X, referring to the fact that the deportations had already happened. The White House Communication Director Steve Trong even reshared the post. Secretary of State Marco Rubio defended the move, saying El Salvador agreed to house over 250 members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua in its prisons for what he called a fair price. All right? Now, once again, I want to go to some of the comments, because the comments just give you a great idea of how ignorant some black people are to what's going on here. So it says, newsflash, it's not about the money, it's about making America white again, okay? Someone else says, good luck to the next president trying to clean up after this mess. It's going to take years. Now that's really weird. How is kicking out illegal gang members a mess? How is this starting a mess? They are not supposed to be here in the first place. So honestly, whether they're gang members or not, they are illegally in the country. And by crossing the border, they broke a law. So me personally, I don't care whether they're gang members or not. If Trump wants to deport them and send them to jail, send them there. Send them there. I don't care. Someone else says, Would this be considered human trafficking? I mean, the ignorance. How could this be considered human trafficking? Like, literally, the people in the gangs from Venezuela were trafficking people. They were trafficking people. Now you're calling for their freedom because you think they're being trafficked. I mean, you can't make this up, man. You can't make this up. Here we go. Using taxpayer money unconstitutionally is wild. Once again, this was completely constitutional. This was within his realm of the executive powers. But yeah, there's no need to go through all of these daggone comments. I mean, as you can see, an overwhelming amount of black folks in the comment section actually believe that Trump is violating, in some weird way, he's violating these people's human rights by not listening to a tardy order from a low-ranking district court judge. Okay? This is a prime example of why Democrats are extremely unpopular with the average American. Okay? Trump's got these fools tied up so good, they just fighting against any and everything. And since they can't do anything legislatively, they're using the courts. But Trump's administration is all over it. They're all over it. And the part I like about them is that he has all his people in place strategically. And they are all extremely effective at what they do. They are all extremely effective communicators. All right, so what I want y'all to do, I want y'all to check out this interview real quick from Stephen Miller, who's the White House Deputy Chief of Staff, okay? He completely schools this CNN anchor. All right, let's get to that. Let's see if I can find it. Hold on, give me a second. All right, give me a second. All right, here we go. Check this interview out.
Assault on democracy. So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the president the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, He's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question. If you could answer my question first.
In other words,
is Venezuela invading our country?
Now you see, he framed that very logically and very constitutionally. He answered a question, and then he asked her a question that she won't answer. Does the judge have the right to determine how troops act overseas? She dodges it
in a way that would
TDA. So I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be. Yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's
that's a fact. The Venezuelan government has admitted that it dumped its prisons and insane asylums. It dumped its prisons and insane asylums and its most hardened criminals into Mexico to cross the border into the U.S. That is documented. The fact that this even has to be an argument is crazy to me. This is crazy to me. But this is the stance that the left is taking. And they wonder why their shit is crumbling.
An even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute. Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government. So it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found it earlier.
Yes. It says, or a predatory incursion, or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute. But this is a very important question, because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the President of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say.
That has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do in fact have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review.
Now, he keeps repeating himself over and over again, and she keeps trying to box him in this corner to get him to say something that's not even relevant. Okay, the bottom line is the statute states that the president can enact the actions that he did. And now she's trying to argue otherwise when we just showed that the document just came up on the screen. The statute is clear as day, but yet she's still trying to extract some type of argument out of this. And this is the left in a nutshell right now. They're spiraling out of control driving themselves crazy, trying to turn nothing into something, when what they should be doing is trying to build back their credibility with the American people. Because right now, they don't have much. I'm gonna let this play out and then we'll move on.
In other words, the president's designation of Trinidad as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen,
how are you going to expel? Hold on. How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge? And that means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point in the system do you, because what does the Trump administration believe? Because we do have separation of powers in this country. I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
you're saying the
separation of
district
powers.
court does
This
not
is the
have
judiciary
authority.
interfering
Stephen,
in
let me finish.
the executive function. That is the separation of powers. That is the separation of powers.
Did you ignore the judge's order here because you thought you could?
So the judge's order and the actions taken by the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are not in conflict. And the Department of Justice has been clear that they are not in conflict. But
so you think that you did go along with the order that the judge put out? You do not think that the Trump administration defied this order?
As the Justice Department said, there is no conflict between the judge's order and the actions taken by the departments I just listed. But I'm making a deeper and more fundamental point.
Yeah.
The district
so,
court
yeah, I mean, if you
has
don't have
no
to follow
ability.
it, why didn't you?
The district court has no ability to in any way restrain the president's authorities under the Alien Enemies Act or his ability to conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had engaged in intensive diplomacy to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can join that bilateral security agreement, then we do not have a democracy.
Stephen, you've made your argument.
We do not have a foreign policy.
We've heard you say this. Did you ignore, did the administration ignore the order from the district judge? It's a simple question.
I've answered it. I've answered it because the Department of Justice has made a filing in the court. But let me make another point. The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No. This judge violated the law. He violated the Constitution.
So do you
defied
think that
the system of government that we have in this country.
Because that does seem to be what you're arguing.
These same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. These district court judges didn't issue any injunction to save the lives of Jocelyn Hungary or Laken Riley or anyone else.
Federal courts. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak
I will
for
do.
You're here to speak for the White House.
I
just want you to answer that one simple question.
I am. Ready? Here we go. Under a proper reading of the Constitution, district court judges provide relief to individual plaintiffs seeking relief. District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch. But their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
yes or no?
I am not going to get into the
just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that
Stephen.
I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other troops
the
overseas.
president.
I need to ask you about something else.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail how the Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media.
I mean, and I don't think anything else needs to be said. There is no argument that you can make. There's no argument that you can make. But the left is dead set on doing so anyway. And the crazy part is it's not helping them. It's not helping them. Real quick, I want to show y'all another clip from CNN, right? And this pretty much gets at what I'm trying to say about the Democratic Party and the left in general, okay? This proves that everything they're doing or they've been trying to do since the election up until this point, this proves that it's not working and it's not going to work in the future. All right, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Say, Democrats, call your office. You know, spare all I have to say, Democrats, call your office. You know, we're March Madness times. Terrible, 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 to quote the great Charles Barkley. View Democratic Party favorably. CNN SRS, look at this, 29%.
Look at this. CNN poll, 29%. NBC News, 27%. Two news companies that lean heavily to the left. So what does that tell you? If their polls are this low, it's probably actually lower in real life. It's probably actually lower. Let's go.
NBC News, you want to go lower than that? How about 27%? Both are record lows. The lowest going back to 1992 in CNN polling, the lowest going back on record to 1990 in NBC News polling. The majority of Americans hold an unfavorable or negative view of the Democratic Party at this point. All I can say is I'm a big fan of the oldies, so I'm going to quote Chubby Checker. How low can you go?
Nice. Well done. With that, what about congressional Democrats specifically?
Yeah, what about congressional Democrats specifically? You think these numbers are low? How about this one? Holy Toledo. Voters' views of the Democrats in Congress among all voters disapprove, 68%. And look at the approved number, just 21%, even lower than the Democratic Party at large. This is the lowest on record for Democrats, according to Quinnipiac University polling. You think these numbers are bad? Let's go to this side of the screen. We'll look how Democratic voters feel. Get this. The plurality of Democratic voters disapprove of Democrats in Congress at 49%, and just 40% approve. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Oh my goodness gracious, you just can't get worse than these numbers.
And this is the number right here really driving all of this. If Democratic voters have turned on Democrats in Congress and the Democratic Party, that's what puts the numbers at historic lows. What is it they want to be seeing, these voters?
What is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. They don't like what's coming out of some of those Senate Democrats like Chuck Schumer, because take a look at the direction of the party. Democratic voters on Democrats in Congress doing too little to oppose Donald Trump. Look at this, 77%. Should stay principled, even if it means nothing gets done in Washington, D.C., 65%. And this 65% is such a difference from where we were in 2017 at this point, when just 30.
And this is the genius of Trump and his administration and what they're doing to the Democrats right now, right? The Democrats are on the wrong side of history, damn near no matter what topic that we bring up. And it's so bad, it's to the point where Trump has them fighting so many separate, meaningless fights that they're spread thin. And really, all of this fighting that they're doing with the Trump administration is for no reason, because they don't have control of the Senate and they don't have control of the Congress. It's so bad that instead of them just trying to look at the good side of the new budget, right? It's funny, right? Because the party is basically, the majority of the party is saying that they don't want the Senate to approve the Republicans' budget, right? However, if there is no budget and everything shuts down, then that makes it easier for the Republicans, for the Trump administration to do what they want to do with the government anyway. If the government shut down, then Trump basically has his way at whatever he wants to do with everything in the federal government because it's shut down. So he gets to decide what's a necessity and what's not, right? So that's what happens if they shut the government down. Now, if they vote not to keep the government shut down, right? Trump gets his budget. Everything he wants is in his budget. Everything he wants to do legislatively, he can now do. However, the only leverage that the Democrats have is that there is some sort of process before just doing what you want to do. So really, you're in a rock and a hard place. So it's like a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario. And what your average Democrat voter who clearly can't read, what they don't understand is that your party can't do anything anyway right now, regardless, because they don't have the juice. There is nothing they can do. They have control. They don't have control over any of the branches of the federal government. The Supreme Court is majority conservative. The House and the Senate are both majority conservative. The executive branch is President Trump, conservative. There's nothing you can do. So if I were them, I would spend my time trying to rebuild credibility with the American people, but they're not thinking like that. They're doubling down on stupid. That's what they're doing.
33% of Democrats say this should stay principled, compared to 59% who said they want to compromise. Democrats do not want compromise at this point. They want a fighter. They want to go into the ring like Muhammad Ali did against Sonny Liston. They want to take down the Republicans. They do not want this compromise anymore. They want to be more like Republicans, can get up to that stage and fight. And right now they feel like their leaders in Congress are simply put not doing so. And that is why their approval rating for congressional Democrats is at an all-time low, even among Democrats with more disapproving than approving.
Yeah, it seems that these Senate Democrats, some of them are banking on the idea that there is still a political middle, as it were. We will see. We will see.
But we will see if there's a political middle, but at this point, count me skeptical that that is at least what the Democratic base wants at this point. It's going to be very interesting, John, to see moving forward whether or not there are any repercussions come 2026, because I bet there may be some coming.
So there we have it. Okay, there we have it. The Democrats, like I said, they have major issues, and there's no way they're going to turn it around unless they appeal to a more moderate base. Okay? There's no way they're going to turn it around. In my humble opinion, the Democrats are going to keep losing until they realize that the people that they pander to the most aren't enough of a significant amount of the population to sustain their party. Think about it. The largest supporters of the Democratic Party currently are black women at almost 100% of the vote. We're talking roughly 6.5% of the entire electorate. If I was the Dems, that would be the first group I ghost because it is literally worthless. And that's not a shot against black women. It's just statistically true. The Democrats spend all day pandering to black women. They achieved 92% of their vote and over close to 80% of black men's vote. And they lost every swing state, the Congress, and the goddamn Senate. They lost everything. Up next, you have the LGBTQ community, which is about 8 or 9% of the total electorate. And about 85% of them voted for Kamala Harris. So, I mean, it should be abundantly clear what this party's problem is. They just refuse to address it. The majority of the American people don't give two shits what you people are trying to push, and yet you push it anyways. Which is why I think in 2026 they're going to be deeper and deeper in this pile of shit. In 2024, I think black men voted Democrat at about 75%. At this rate, by 2026, I think it might drop another 15%. More and more black men are abandoning this bullshit every day. Did y'all see Pac-Man Jones on The Breakfast Club? I got the clip. I'm gonna show it. You got to check out this Pac-Man Jones interview. I got a small clip I want to play. And the topic of him being a Trump supporter came up. And his answer did not disappoint. All right, so let's get to that. All right, Pac-Man Jones. Here we go.
Now give a fuck who don't like it.
Let's go back.
Because you're a Trump supporter, right?
Yes, I am. Now give a fuck who don't like it. Like, my opinion is my opinion who I like. Like, I was somewhere like 2 weeks ago, and the dude said, "Man, I seen you with that Trump hat on." I said, "Okay, what is your problem?" And he just went in on me like, he is trying to take away Social Security. I said, "Okay, oh, that's cool. Are you done yet?" Like, my opinion is my opinion. As far as business-wise, I agree with Trump. I got paper. And all my folks that was in the hood, they good.
You got the economy fucked up right now.
I'm voting for fucking me. Huh?
You got the economy fucked up.
It's gonna
right
get
now.
up. You know that shit gonna get up. You know that shit gonna get up, bro.
I don't know.
You don't think so? Well, the last two motherfuckers ain't did shit for you. It was down when they was in this motherfucker.
Oh, listen, I don't believe in none of them. But I just think
it's gonna get
now. We got to stop that right there. Charlemagne the God says he doesn't believe in none of them. When this man was the lead cheerleader for Joe Biden and the lead cheerleader for Kamala Harris. Now all of a sudden you're apolitical. Come on, bro. These people got to be held accountable for their foolishness. You're not apolitical, bro. Every time an election comes around, you are the first Negro on the front lines for the Democratic Party. And then when they lose and get their ass spanked, you the first Negro, oh, I'm apolitical. Nah, bro. Stand on business, bro. You are the one who kept trying to shove Kamala Harris down our throats. Pause.
Ain't nobody bending me over.
Oh, so you doing the bending?
It was Charlemagne the God. Every time you look up, he interviewing Kamala Harris for a town hall, and she giving the same goddamn answers over and over again. In a way, you could say you contributed to her loss, because every time you bought this woman in our faces, we see how dumb she was each and every time. Each and every time. A showcase in her stupidity. But now he want to talk about, oh, he's apolitical. Oh, you don't fuck with none of them. Get out of here, bro. You on the Democratic payroll. 2026, when the midterms come up, watch all of a sudden how political and democratic Charlemagne the God gets. Anyway, let's continue.
Think so.
Only reason I say that is because we have 11 recessions in.
Also, man, if you just tuning in, hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, X, hit the like button, hit the share button. Don't forget to comment in the live chat below. Help this video get off into the algorithm. Let's get it.
This country, 10 of them have been led by Republicans.
Yeah.
And the economy does do better when there's a
Not
Democrat
when Trump
in
was
the
in there last time, though.
Hell yeah. We was right there to recession. The only thing that stopped the recession was COVID.
No, I don't think stopped recession was Trump getting nigga check.
COVID. He gave him the check for COVID.
But COVID was planned. You see they goddamn getting rid of his ass, huh?
Who, COVID?
No. The motherfucker.
Fauci?
Yeah.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, you don't want to talk about that,
No, I don't know if they
So
get
you
rid
don't
of
think Fauci put COVID,
no,
drop this shit in here? How you think COVID got here?
It leaked from a lab in China.
Man, it leaked from motherfucking Fauci.
Yeah, I could have been a.
How Fauci get all that money for nothing?
Could it have been a biological warfare? Yes, but it came from a lab in China, the Wuhan lab.
It came from Fauci.
So there we have it. There we have it. No need to beat a dead horse. Okay? Black men are slowly but surely cutting ties with the Democratic plantation, and I'm loving it. For real, all it takes is a little research. Okay? It takes research. Which party is against masculinity? Which party appoints all the liberal judges who are screwing you over in family court? Which party wants your children to mutilate themselves? Which party is the biggest cheerleaders for you to delete your own children? Which party is in control of the piss poor public school system that your children attend? Which party forced you to take an experimental drug or face being fired? Which party controls each of the most dangerous cities in America? But I digress. Let's get into this final topic. I want to talk about this resurfaced video of a teenage Charleston white that has been floating around the internet the past couple of days. So yeah, we got to talk about it. Not so much about the snitching, right? But more so about the mindset of a lot of black men. Now, we can sit up here and rag on the women all day and all night, and I'm with it. I'm here for it. But at the same time, a lot of you niggas are contributing to the degeneracy of the black community as well, and I'd be a total hypocrite if I didn't call that shit out too. All right, so anyways, without wasting any more time, let's get to the video of Charleston white snitching in 1991, and then we'll break this down, okay? Bear with me, give me 1 second. Let's get to Charleston white. Where's he at? Okay.
16-year-old Charleston White took the...
I handed him the gun out the backseat of the car.
16-year-old Charleston White took the stand and testified against his friend, Antoine Doolittle, who sat just a few feet from him and listened intently.
He pulled it off.
Yo, that's crazy. That nigga looked the exact same. He looked the exact same. That's crazy.
And the hammer back on the gun.
And then what happened?
He fired it.
Doolittle is accused of gunning down 34-year-old Michael Levy of Irving. Levy attempted to stop Doolittle, White, and 2 other teenagers accused of shoplifting 3 sports jackets and a baseball cap from an Arlington mall in September of 1991. Witnesses say Levy pounded on their windshield until the teens threw the jackets out the car window. Then Doolittle supposedly shot him in the back as Levy walked away. White repeated the conversation he says he had with Doolittle after the shooting.
I said, look, you shot him.
What did he do?
Started laughing.
Levy had been married only 4 days when he was shot.
But I always had my dreams of my Prince Charming. I found him. And it's hard to believe, but I did. And I believe in fairy tales because he made my dreams come true. And they took that away.
White will be testifying against all 3 of his buddies in exchange for a maximum sentence of 12 years. A juvenile judge reduced the charge from capital murder to murder against Doolittle, so the teenager faces from 5 years to life in prison if he's found guilty.
Well, I handed him the gun.
Now, I'll tell you guys, what's troubling to me about the reaction that I'm seeing from this video from a lot of black men, right? I'll just be honest. Is the fact that there are a bunch of grown ass men, like regular men, like men who aren't even in the streets, or even if they are still in the streets, it's still a problem. But regardless, a bunch of grown ass men acting like what Charleston White did was an abomination unto the Lord because he told on a brutal murderer for doing some dumbass shit that changed the course of a bunch of people's lives. An innocent man was gunned down. The killer was caught, and our natural instinct as black men is to blame the 16-year-old little boy who helped bring the killer to justice. That's the problem. If we out stealing clothes and shit, and we get caught, and I snitch on y'all, that's one thing, right? That's one thing. But if we out stealing clothes, and you up the ante to fucking capital murder, I'm sorry, bro, but you're going down. You're going down. Either you take the charge, or get ready to catch it. Because I'm not about to do life in prison for a crime I didn't commit or condone. We talking about a 16-year-old boy here. And it's funny because a lot of y'all are laughing at Charleston White, but y'all would have told for way less. If we keep it in a buck. All right, and then I'm seeing all these types of rappers and shit coming out, laughing and calling this man a snitch, acting like this video is about to end his career. All right, this nigga been on the same shit for years. He been on the same shit for years. Yo, I remember when the nigga said he wanted to start a snitching Boy Scouts. Remember when he said that he wanted to start the snitching Boy Scouts? Hold on real quick. Let me pull that up. This nigga's hilarious. Let's go to the snitching Boy Scouts video. Here we go.
These niggas start telling in school. I want to create a Boy Scout organization. These niggas start telling in school. They the niggas who raise their hand and say, teacher, can I take names and tell you who talking when you leave the class? They the ones in the hallway writing down names in middle school, dropping notes to the principal, to the kids with the bloodshot red eyes that look like they on pills. So they can be law-abiding citizens and great neighborhood watch crime people. We need to train this. We training killers and gangsters. So we need to train, nigga, some confident, snitching, tatter-telling young man that ain't scared to tell on now, motherfucker. And teach them how to fight too. So if you fuck with them by telling, they'll kick your ass. Yeah, we need some strong snitches, nigga. And they proud of it. That way, it help curb the violence in the communities. You got you a snitch that know how to fight, and he'll shoot that pistol too. But he'll snitch. Who can beat him? Not too many people. That's who you got to put up against. That's how you combat the gang violence. That's how you combat bullying. Hey, teacher, he picking on him. Yeah, tell it in front of everybody. He make it so he'll stop. Say he picking on him right now, teacher. It'll disrupt the class. Who do it? He here? What he doing? He just got through pinching his booty, and he told him stop, and he done it 3 times. No, that's how you break this shit up. Tell on a nigga ass. Niggas damn near move out the city. If everywhere he goes, hey, that's that nigga did that shooting the other day at the club. Say, y'all, there you go. Say, hey, did you shoot that nigga? How many? Yeah, you tell. And watch how many niggas not be so tough no more. The only reason most niggas are tough and so bravado and gung-ho with these guns, because they have the snitch rule in effect. And I'm trying to take the snitch rule out of effect and raise proud, honorable, tatter-telling, snitching motherfuckers.
Now, most people will listen to this and think that this is an abomination. But if you actually listen to what he's saying, this is genius. This is genius, and it's needed. Like on one end, okay, we hate snitches and they get ditches, but then on the other end, you mad at the police because they can't stop the crime. But the criminals in the community who are making it a horrible place to live are literally protected within the fabric of the culture because you're raised from a little kid not to report things that are going wrong. That's ass backwards. And that's not the way a thriving community should operate. So I actually agree with what he said. It sounds wild, but it's the truth. It is the truth. The ghetto, the hood, the projects is not a good place to be. It's not a good place to live. It's not healthy. It's not clean. And it's very dangerous. And a part of the problem is the fact that people are scared to report things. But anyway, let's let him finish.
The kind that'll be willing to get on the stand and tell on a nigga. When they say, point him out, that's him right there, Your Honor. That's him. That kind. The kind like Spud Boone. When you get me, I tell on everything you don't even know nothing about. That way, you don't need so much money to get out of jail. Crime won't be so expensive if you learn to commit crime and tell on the people you commit crimes with. See, there's a myth that there's honor amongst thieves. And I just want to bring everything back to how it really is. There's no honor amongst thieves.
And that's a fact. I mean, this, honestly, man, this shit is hilarious. But it needs to be said at the same time. Everybody hates this man's guts. But he be having a great point at the end of the day. Okay, but yeah, I mean, this nigga, man, he's been telling for years. He's a teller. Remember when he went live and snitched on the gang member that was harassing him from jail? This man went live and snitched on a gang member who had a cell phone in prison and was harassing him over Instagram. All right, I'm gonna play this last one and then we'll wrap up the Charleston White thing. But yeah, let's get to that. This is hilarious, bro.
Call at our earliest convenience. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Charleston White. I'm a victim of a crime by a guy of a road.
It's hilarious. Let's go.
Rolling 50 Crip. They call him 55 Street Crip. Baby OG Baby Snaps. He got a cell phone in prison and he's making threats to victims via social media. He's recording threatening videos that's very terrifying in a prison cell in the dark, and he's making gang threats. My contact number is area code 936-255-5102. I'm calling in reference to a Department of Correction and Rehabilitation inmate by the name of OG Baby Snaps, rolling 55 Street Crips, and I think his real name is Michael or Mitch Hunt. He's calling, leaving threatening message via cell phone in prison. Michael Hunt, OG Baby Snaps, rolling 50 Crips, 55 Street. My name is Charleston White, and I'm the victim that he's victimizing.
So there we have it, man. Salute to Charleston White. Salute. Okay. Salute to Charleston, man. Keep exposing the inconsistencies in the black community. Okay? Your work is much needed, sir. It is much needed. But yeah, let's get back to black men. Okay? Black men, we gotta grow up. We gotta shed ourselves of the negativity that our favorite rappers instilled in us as kids. Okay? Because it's a bad look. It's like that song Nas made on Stillmatic, Second Childhood. Now, speaking of second childhoods, I want to give y'all a prime example of the foolishness I'm speaking about. All right, check out this interview real quick. It's just maybe a 4 or 5 minute clip of Jim Jones on the Joe Budden podcast. All right, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about by us needing to shed this degenerate culture. All right, give me a second.
I want to create a
about Bloods versus frat.
All right, let's go.
Boy Scout organization. These niggas start telling in school.
We had an argument about, you had these niggas in there arguing about Bloods versus frats, gangs versus
fraternities. The same thing. Blood is a fraternity. 100%. It's no difference. It's no difference. The only thing they did different is file legal papers that make them a fraternity. If somebody was to name Blood Alpha Phi Blood right now and file the papers, then Blood would be a fraternity, and we could start it anywhere, and they could put it in colleges and all that. Being Blood is not a crime. What you do, if you're doing criminal activity as being a Blood, makes it a crime. But that doesn't mean every Blood is a criminal. It doesn't mean every Blood needs to go to jail for the crime that one Blood did. So I know.
All right, let me stop right there real quick, because the foolishness is already rampant, right? while he is correct in saying that being a blood is not necessarily a crime, keep in mind that blood gangs are in existence specifically to commit crimes. And they are blatantly exclusive to criminal behavior. So if you're dumb enough to openly tell people you are a member of a specific blood gang, like Jim Jones and the 9 Trey Bloods, just understand that there is a law called the RICO Act, okay, or the Racketeer Influenced and Corruption Organizations Act. And within this law, if you are a known associate of a gang or a specific gang, and they are investigated for criminal activity, you can and most likely will be prosecuted as well, just on the mere fact of your association. Okay? So when Jim Jones is sitting on here with all his millions of dollars, I think that he has, from rapping and not really being a gangster, remember, he has a layer of protection because he's on TV and the internet pretending to be a gangster. He doesn't live in the hood with the rest of the 9 Trey Bloods. He probably lives in New Jersey in a mansion or somewhere expensive, far away from any of that. So keep that in mind.
There's a lot of people in fraternities that broke hella laws and they are locked up right now. I know there's a lot of Q dogs who lock their ass up right now. You heard? You dig? But nobody talks about that. It's all the same thing.
Niggas say, ooh.
You heard?
It's funny as shit.
It's all the same thing. Freemasons, fraternities, Bloods, Crips, Yetas, it's all the same thing.
I don't know. Let me ask you a question about that, though. Let me ask you a question about that. So if somebody said, what's the fundamental...
The benefits might not be the same.
There we go.
You heard? Fraternity has a different type of benefit. You sign to this fraternity, hopefully it'll help you out with your future successes and business endeavors. And this dude might work at this law firm. Now he gives you an automatic in. Now your intern there end up being, you dig? But it kind of works in the same way of that also, because you got people like me that have been helping out people legally and giving people different type of jobs and opportunities in their lifestyle. So what's the difference?
Let me ask you this though about go ahead.
Do y'all hear this foolishness? What's the difference? What's the difference? The difference is that the rest of the groups you named are not out here specifically committing crimes and tearing down their own communities. As a matter of fact, most of the organizations that you named are founded based upon people who give back to the community. They give back, they don't take. Alphas, Qs, all these organizations, Freemasons.
They the niggas who raise their hand and say, teacher, can I?
All of these groups that we're talking about here, they're not known for selling drugs in the community. The gangs are. The Bloods and the Crips and the Gangster Disciples, they are. The Alphas and the Sigmas and all them are not known for doing drive-bys and killing innocent kids. But the Bloods and the Crips are. Like, this is some of the most ridiculous shit I've ever heard in my life. And I can't believe that there are other grown men sitting around this podcast entertaining this as if he has a point. Now, I can tell that, what's my man's name? Can't think of his name. You know what I'm talking about, the political dude that's on there with him. I know he knows better than this. I know all of them know better than this. But in order to be a part of the culture and not get canceled, you have to sit up and act like Jim Jones has a valid point when he doesn't. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you guys, if you're just tuning in or if you've been tuning in for a while, hit that like button, hit that share button. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to comment in the live chat below. We cooking. We're talking about how hip hop has put some black men in a state of arrested development. All right, let's go.
I take names and tell you who talking when you leave the class. They the ones in the hall.
Sorry, my bad. I don't know what the hell. I don't know why that keeps playing. Here we go.
Is it a difference in majority versus minority? And
As far as what?
And when I say that, you blood, right?
Right.
Idiot. Admits to being blood on camera. Idiot.
If we took 100 bloods,
right?
Give me a real one, yo. not to win your argument, or not argument, a real one of people that are putting other people in position to be successful. Keep it a buck.
Out of 100 Bloods, how many? Yeah, the percentage might be low. It might be low.
So that's where the differentiation lies, because with the sorority example, or with the Mason example, or with the Congress senators, Imani brought up, the Congress and senators, they be running that shit like death row. But niggas won't know that. What we see from gang culture, and we all been around, all our friends, family, whatever, is down, but
I'm trying to know you, nigga. Don't try to get me
get you affiliated.
Everybody in here got family or friends that's affiliated, whether they knee deep or whether they just on the surface. So what I'm saying is the perception of it is where we get the disparity.
100%.
Because we don't see enough niggas.
You asked me a question, now you go into something different. You asked me if being blood in a fraternity, do I feel is the same thing? And yes, I feel it's the same thing. I feel being a blood is a fraternity. Now, there's big differences between being Alpha Phi Alpha and non-trade gangster. Exactly. Yes, there are big differences, but the premise of what it is the same thing, my brother.
So, fraternities is brotherhoods, right? And a gang is a brotherhood. I think the question for me is like,
apples and oranges are both fruits, right? And they both, when you eat them, they give your body a healthy amount of sugar to give you energy. But by all intents and purposes, apples and oranges are not the same thing. Just thought I'd point that out.
Like, what's it organized around? So like when I'm in a fraternity, and it was like, all right, we organized around black men achieving, right? And I got a lot of respect actually for gangs and shit they do, especially, historically. I guess my question is, what do Bloods organize around, or Crips organize around? Like, what's their goal? What's the reason for coming together?
The brotherhood is about lifting each other up. Like what we see in the public, we got a lot of ignorance when it comes to the gangbang, but the underline is about lifting each other up. That's what we believe in. Each one teach one and things like that. But you won't see that. The media only wants you to paint the ugly picture. But there's a lot of positive situations that goes on within the gang community. There's a lot of brothers that have been through a lot that always pour into their community to give back. There's a lot of gang prevention programs that
Yeah, the last guy we saw do that was Nipsey Hussle, who was a Rolling 60s Crip, and he ended up getting killed by Rolling 60s Crips. You just gotta cut the bullshit, man. We gotta start calling a spade a spade. We really do. I'm gonna play a little bit more than this, and we're gonna move on.
Gang leaders run themselves and things like that, like, you know what I mean? But the word gang itself already puts a twist on it, on anything that happens to it, you dig? So it's like the positivity goes out the window as soon as somebody hears gang, or as soon as somebody hears blood, or someone hear Crip, when there's a lot of positive activity goes on within the gang community.
It is.
You heard?
Would you want your son to join?
Would I want my son to join?
Yeah.
No, I say that in my music. I wouldn't want him to join, but I wouldn't stop him from joining.
Why wouldn't you want him to, though?
Because he came up different than I did.
Sure, indeed. Got you.
You heard?
Yeah.
He don't know what being in Harlem or being in the hood is. He don't know what it is to have to rely on that brotherhood, or come outside and need that brotherhood, or come outside or have to be a leader for that brotherhood. Like, he doesn't have to, he didn't have his back against the wall. He never had. And I hope he never have to go through that.
But is that a prerequisite for joining? Like, if I didn't,
it's not a prerequisite.
If I wasn't raised like that.
And not a did you hear what I said? I don't want him to join, but I would not stop him from joining.
Jim Jones is a walking, talking embarrassment for black men. It's a walking, talking embarrassment. This nigga's 50-something years old, bro. 50-something years old. Okay? He's probably a grandfather at this point, or close to that age of being a grandfather. This is why I say the community is cooked. Jones that are grandfathers. Let that sink in. I remember my grandfather when I was a little kid, when he was in his 50s, he was nothing like this clown. That's back when we had hope for a better future. Now, niggas like this are advising the youth. These are the old wise men. Quote unquote wise. We got a problem on our hands.
His father is a blood, and I'm a pretty positive, successful blood member. You heard? Like, I've done a lot of things wrong, and I've done a lot of things right, like any of us in here have done. You heard? My brotherhood, I owe.
Shout out to JP Reloaded. He says, talking about what Jim Jones said about his not wanting his son to be a blood. He says, I don't want him to have sex, but here's a condom. Facts. Stupidity, bro.
Always try to lift up. I've never told somebody to do anything negative when they're around me. I don't need them for that. You know what I mean? Coming up, yeah,
it's on.
You heard? It's a lot. It's a lot of energy, but I got this thing you won't know till you grow, and I did a lot of growing. You understand? You did? So I'm able to turn the narrative and what people see, especially in my community. That's why I'm always there. I don't go to my community to shine on nobody or sun on nobody. What's the purpose in that? But I go there to be the beacon of light that I am for these kids and see that there's somebody that came out the same circumstances that they did that can figure out how to get out the matrix. You dig? I ain't perfect, but I'm a perfect example of what hard work, dedication, and a lot of prayer could do for you. I promise you that.
My pushback in that, because I don't know nothing about the frats.
Very well said.
Or too much about the gangs. But when you said Snoop, right? And I've been saying for a while, Snoop is probably the most marketable rapper in the world. And he's a gang member.
Right.
And he's definitely down with the commercialization of it.
Right.
I don't think y'all commercialize it the same though. Right? Like when I hear Snoop lyrics, to me, are different from your lyrics. Snoop, when he talked, is still the Magic Johnson smile. It's all of the marketable bullshit.
Is that now or was that then?
I was about to say, is Snoop still outside?
Y'all talking about when murder was the case and all that shit?
He's still outside. He's
right
still
now,
outside.
Snoop is the biggest
rapper.
He box office, yeah.
He is different when it comes to anything. He's on every commercial. Like, I need, who is his manager, agent? Please sign me. I need it right now. You know?
So there we have it, man. I mean, look. This foolishness pretty much speaks for itself, okay? Black men, stop looking to these types of people for your culture. If this ethnic group is going to survive another 50 years, we're gonna have to learn to put hip hop in its proper place as a music genre instead of culture or instead of a way of life. To its core, hip hop music is destructive and non-conducive to a thriving or even a functioning society. You don't believe me? All you gotta do is look up every single socio-economic statistic from the start of hip hop until the present day. Show me what kind of outcomes the black community has achieved since. Do that. You go back and you look at the trend socioeconomically in every major category since the inception of hip hop to the present day, and show me what the outcomes have been. Show me. If you haven't been paying attention, the answer might shock you. But anyways, that's it for tonight's show. I'd like to thank everyone on YouTube, Facebook, X, and not Instagram. We went on Instagram tonight. But anyway, we'll be back Thursday and maybe even Friday. We'll see. But on that note, always remember, tripping ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. Peace out. Catch you in the next one.